Hi, I'm Ellie, and this is your weekly theatre news recap. Back for 2025. Yes, this is the series where we recap all of the past week's UK theatre news in the only way I know how. Chaotically. Now, we've only been in 2025 for like 2 weeks now, and already we've got a lot of news to catch up on. So if you want to stay up to date with all things UK theatre throughout 2025, make sure you hit subscribe, because I do these every single week. And if you do enjoy it, you can also hit the like button and, give me that little bit of validation. But let's start, as we always do, with our casting news, starting with Blood Brothers. Are you surprised? Blood Brothers is going back on tour. Now, a lot of cast members are continuing their roles in this tour, including Vivian Carlyle as Mrs. Johnston, Sean Jones and Joe Slight as Mickey and Eddie, Gemma Broderick as Linda, Sarah Jane Buckley as Mrs. Lyons, Tim Churchill as Mr. Lyons, Chloe Pole as Donna Marie, Alex Harland as policeman and teacher, Graham Kinneberg as the postman and the bus conductor, Jess Smith as Brenda, James Ledsham as Sammy, and Dominic Gore as the neighbour. However, there are some new cast members to talk about. We have Nikki Colwell-Evans, who will be reprising the role of Miss Johnson for one tour stop only, and that is at the Liverpool Empire. And we have 2 new cast members joining in the spring, and they are Sean Keeney as the narrator and Cameron Patmore as Perkins. Blood Brothers has loads of tour dates throughout 2025. From January to April, it's going to Derby, Wolverhampton, Aylesbury, Cornwall, Windsor, Wimbledon, Liverpool, Peterborough, York and Fareham, and then picking back up in autumn, going to Nottingham, Poole, Belfast and Salford, with further dates to be announced very soon. As well as that, if you're in Southampton, you have a very exciting tour announcement for Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. As it's been announced that Jason Donovan will be returning to the role of the Pharaoh for one tour stop only at the Southampton Mayflower Theatre, playing there from the 13th to the 18th of May, and this will be your only opportunity to see Jason Donovan in the 2025 UK tour. So if you're near Southampton and you really want to see Jason Donovan, you better go then. From the King of Rock and Roll, obviously because the Pharaoh is based on Elvis, to King Edward II. There was no good way to link these two. We have the cast for the RSC's upcoming production of Christopher Marlowe's Edward II. This is a tragedy that is very rarely performed. So if you want to catch it, one of your very few opportunities will be at the Swan Theatre in Stratford-upon-Avon from the 21st of February to the 5th of April 2025. And we do have a cast, including Daniel Evans, who is actually the current RSC co-artistic director, who will be playing the role of King Edward II. We have Eloka Ivo, who is playing Edward's lover. And as well as that, we have Ruta Gedmintas as Queen Isabella and Enzo Cilenti as Mortimer. And for additional casting, you can check all of it out in the description down below. Next up, we have The Parent Agency. This is a new musical based on David Bedell's book. This is going to the Story House in Chester from the 15th of February to the 2nd of March. And in the cast, we have Max Bisham, Ossian Salter, Eli Soden Meta, and Lewis Wilkins, who will be sharing the role of Barry, as well as Rebecca McInnes, who you may know from Dear Evan Hansen or Everybody's Talking About Jamie, playing Susan, and Rakesh Bowery, who will be playing Jeff. We also have a wide array of ensemble members who will be in the description down below. But really exciting, cool to see. Love this trend this year of like a lot of new musicals being tried regionally. We got a lot in Manchester. We got this one over in Chester. I'll just say this year I'm gonna have to do a lot more traveling. And speaking of travelling, we can head up now to Sheffield, as Sheffield Theatre have announced their Blanche Dubois in their production of A Streetcar Named Desire. And this is Joanna Vanderham, with further casting to be announced soon. This will be playing at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield from the 1st to the 29th of March, so you can catch this fantastic Tennessee Williams play then. Maybe if you got tickets to the London one as well, you can compare them. Fun! Heading back to London now, we have a cast announced for a play going to the National Theatre. This is Alterations. Alterations is playing at the Littleton Theatre as part of the big National Theatre from the 20th of February to the 5th of April. And we have a very exciting cast. Aranze Keane and Sherelle Skeet will be playing Walter Holt and Darlene Holt. And joining alongside them are Carl Collins, Gershwin Eustache Jr., Raphael Tomotaib, and Colin Mace, as well as an ensemble who will be in the description down below. But once again, if you want to catch this comedy, it is being staged at the National's Lyttelton Theatre starting in February. Heading over to another off-West End theatre, we have Otherland, which is opening at the Almeida from the 20th of February as well. They've both got the same first preview date. That's fun. I didn't plan that. And this is running to the 15th of March. This is a new play by Chris Bush, who also worked on Hungry, which is a fantastic fringe piece I saw, and Standing at the Sky's Edge. Now, previously announced in this play was Jade Anuka, Jackie Clune, Fizz Sinclair, and Amanda Wilkin. And joining them are Danielle Fiamanya, Laura Hanna, Beth Hinton-Lever, and Serena Mantegi. There's some fantastic names there. Obviously, Danielle, fantastic actress, was the first alternate for Elsa in Frozen. Beth Hinton-Lever has been in the ensemble for Hadestown. She's been one of the workers, fantastic performer. This looks to be really, really cool. I'm really hoping I can catch this one at the Almeida. And another off-West End theatre we want to talk about is the Donmar Warehouse, as they've announced casting for their next production after Natasha B. and the Requiem of 1812, which is Backstroke. Joining the previously announced Tamsin Krieg and Celia Imrie are Lucy Briers, Anita Reynolds, and Georgina Rich. This will be playing at the Donmar Warehouse from the 14th February to the 12th of April. And the casting news keeps coming. It doesn't stop coming. There's still so much casting news to go through. Next up, we have Clueless. This is a brand new musical based on the film. This will be opening at the Trafalgar Theatre in the West End next month. And we already knew our two leads, Emma Flynn as Cher and Keelan McCauley as Josh, and now we know the rest of the cast. Dion will be played by China Rose Frederick, Ty by Ramona Lewis Malley, Murray by Rabi Conde, Christian by Isaac J. Lewis, Travis by Blake Jordan, Elton by Max Mercer, Mel by Ryan O'Donnell, Miss G by Imelda Warren Green, and Amber by Emily Florence, as well as an ensemble who will be where? The description down below. This is really cool, really exciting. Obviously, out of a lot of those names, I know Imelda Warren Green from her fantastic performance in Kathy and Stella Solve a Murder. So if they use her comedy chops like they did in that show, oh boy, I am ready. This opens once again in the middle of February at the Trafalgar. I'm really excited for it, and I hope you are too. Some of the sneak peeks of the music that we got for this musical were so good. Go and listen to Human Barbie, because that song slaps. We dipped our toe into the West End, and now let's take it back out and go off West End again, as we have an announcement for The Brightening Air at the Old Vic. This is a new play by Conor McPherson, which is opening on the 10th of April and running until the 14th of June at the Old Vic in London. And we now know our cast. So if you want to catch this one, once again, it opens on the 10th of April 2025 at the Old Vic in London. And the final piece of casting news we have this week is Much Ado About Nothing. This is the second in the 2 Shakespeare plays going to the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, directed by Jamie Lloyd. And this one, we already knew, starred Tom Hiddleston as Benedict and Hayley Atwell as Beatrice. And they are joined by a lot of cast members who cross over with the previous show in the Shakespeare season. You'll recognise a lot of familiar names here if you've been paying attention to who's been in The Tempest, as we have Mara Huff as Hero, Forbes Masson as Leonato, Philip Olagote as Friar Francis, Mason Alexander Park as Margaret, James Foon as Claudio, Tim Steed as Don John, as well as Mika Onyx Johnson and Gerald Kid. This opens at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane on the 10th of February 2025 and runs until Saturday the 5th of April 2025. And they have officially announced that we will be getting under 35s tickets, with more information on that to be revealed in the coming weeks. Yeah, they announced literally the day after I filmed this when they're releasing these tickets. So if you want to get a good deal for Much Ado About Nothing, if you want to go and see it for £25 and you are under 35 or are a key worker, you can book this Thursday the 16th of January at 11 a.m. Tickets will go on sale for under 35s and key workers to get £25 tickets to any performance across the run. But that is it for our casting news. Let's move on to concerts and events. The first is really quick and simple. They have announced the hosts for the Watson Stage Awards this year. On the 9th of February at the London Palladium, we will see Gina and Maz Murray hosting the Watson Stage Awards, which is very exciting, very cool. And as well as that, if we head up to Manchester, we have some more shows announced for the big night of musicals. This is being held at the AO Arena on the 27th of January with Jason Manford hosting, and joining the previously announced shows will be Cabaret, which will feature a performance from Marisha Wallace, most likely doing the title number. Chicago, Mary Poppins, Titanic with a performance from Leighton Williams, and a special performance from Michael Ball. Moving on to miscellaneous news this week, we only have one thing to talk about, and that is a new album from Hadley Fraser. Yes, huge West End talent Hadley Fraser is releasing a new album called Things That Come and Go. This will be releasing on CD and to digital platforms on the 7th of February 2025. This track list includes a lot of cover songs, including a cover of Fly Me to the Moon and I Get Along Without You Very Well. So if you want to catch that, you can stream it or buy yourself a little CD on the 7th of February 2025. Now, with all that aside, let's move on to seasons. We only have one to speak about, and that is the Old Joint Stock. Now, this is very exciting. The Old Joint Stock is a theatre, a very small, fringy theatre in Birmingham, and they've announced some really cool musical revivals, including two musicals I didn't expect to be revived this quickly. So, previously announced, but part of the season nonetheless, is Ordinary Days. This is a fantastic musical. It's playing at the Old Joint Stock from the 10th to the 27th of April, and will then be transferring to London's Upstairs at the Gatehouse. But the two shows announced this week were Be More Chill, a musical that was previously played at the Other Palace, but sadly got its run cut short due to the pandemic, and then played a short run during the pandemic at the Shaftesbury Theatre. This will be a brand new revival playing at this theatre from the 6th to the 31st of August. And then, after that, we'll be seeing a new production of Bonnie and Clyde. Obviously, Bonnie and Clyde has had a massive success in London with the sold-out concert, the production at the Arts, transferring to the Garrick, and then it had its UK tour, which sadly cut its run short. I thought it would be a very long time before we see Bonnie and Clyde again in any form in the UK, but you can catch it at the Old Joint Stock in Birmingham from the 1st to the 26th of October. This is really exciting news, and two shows I was very much not expecting to see, but I'm really curious to see what these are like. I'm really hoping I can get up to Birmingham to catch these when they perform. Now, on to transfers and new productions. The first we have to speak about is a new musical that's being workshopped. A new romantic comedy musical, If I Had You, will be playing at the Actors' Church in Covent Garden on Monday the 27th of January at 2:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. This workshop will star 42 Balloon star Charlie McCullough, 9 to 5 star Chelsea Halfpenny, and Danielle Allen Carter, in a story about love, loss, and hope, set in the eternal city of Rome, as one man's heart takes him on a journey of a lifetime. Now, typically I don't often speak a lot about workshop productions on this series, but this workshop is actually open to public booking. So if you want to catch a brand new musical at the Actors' Church, you can catch it on the 27th of January for two showings at 2:30 and 7:30. As well as that, we are getting a brand new UK tour of Death of a Salesman, led by David Heyman as Willie Loman. This will be opening at the Pavilion Theatre in Glasgow from the 5th to the 9th of March, and then we'll go to the Birmingham Rep from the 11th of March, it's my birthday, the Festival Theatre in Edinburgh from the 19th of March, the Lyceum Theatre in Crewe from the 27th of March, the New Theatre in Cardiff from the 1st of April, the Palace Theatre in Southend from the 8th of April, the Gaiety Theatre in Dublin from the 15th of April, the Wickham Swan Theatre in High Wycombe from the 22nd of April, and then we'll conclude at Fareham Live from the 29th of April. So if you want to catch Death of a Salesman, you can catch it at any of those tour stops. I've already said them, I'm not saying them again. Oh boy. As well as that, we are getting a brand new Jeremy Dyson and Andy Nyman play. This will be premiering at the York Theatre Royal, and it's called The Psychic. Now, obviously, Andy Nyman, very famous actor, recently in the Wicked film. He was Elphaba's dad, but you might also know him from Hello Dolly, or currently playing in The Producers. But he also wrote the play Ghost Stories, and this will see him reunite with his co-writer on that, Jeremy Dyson. This new thriller by the pair follows a popular TV psychic who has fallen from grace and seeks to revive her fortunes by exploiting the grief of a wealthy couple. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can head up to the York Theatre Royal from the 29th of April to the 23rd of May. As well as that, we have a brand new play premiering at the Theatre Royal Bath, and this is By Royal Appointment. This play has been written by Daisy Goodwin, and will star Anne Reid and Caroline Quentin as Queen Elizabeth II and her dresser, respectively, exploring the relationship between the monarch and her close confidant and their collaboration in shaping the public image of the late Queen. This runs at the Theatre Royal Bath from the 5th to the 14th of June before embarking on a UK tour, going to Cheltenham, Leeds, Malvern, Southampton and Guildford. Next up, something I'm really excited for is Dracula, A Comedy of Terrors. Now, I've seen a little bit about this play because it's currently, or it had very recently, a run off Broadway. And there's some hilarious clips from this play published from that run. And the Menier Chocolate Factory will be hosting the UK premiere of this play, opening from the 17th of March, playing until the 3rd of May. This play is set in Transylvania and follows Jonathan Harker, a timid English estate agent who travels to meet his new client, Count Dracula. However, this version of the Count turns out not to just be a vampire, but also a narcissistic figure struggling with an existential crisis. From what I've seen of it, it's so campy, it's so silly, and I'm so here for it. I'm so ready. I can't wait for this one. So you can catch it at the Menier Chocolate Factory, previews starting on the 8th of March, opening officially on the 17th of March and playing until the 3rd of May. Now, we have two final stories to talk about, and these two stories, I was struggling to pick which one is the leading one, which is the bigger story of the week. So I'm going to give them both. I'm going to give them both the top spot. These are two really exciting things. The first is a West End transfer for the Broadway play Stereophonic. Stereophonic recently became the most Tony Award nominated play in history and ends its run in New York this weekend. But coinciding with that news, they have announced a London transfer to the Duke of York's Theatre, opening in May 2025, with exact dates to be announced very soon. As well as that, we are getting some of the Broadway cast coming over to reprise their roles, including Andrew R. Butler as Charlie, Eli Gelb as Grover, and Chris Stack as Simon, with further casting to be announced in due course. This play follows a fictional rock band on the cusp of stardom as they struggle through recording their new album. And as I said, it became the most nominated play in Tony's history. It received 13 nominations and won for 5 of these: Best Play, Best Direction of a Play, Best Featured Actor, Best Sound Design, and Best Scenic Design. So if you want to catch this, it opens in May 2025 at Duke of York's. Stay tuned for further announcements soon on exact dates for this London run, which I'll be sharing the second they actually tell us. And finally, in news this week, we have Mrs. Warren's Profession. This is a play written by George Bernard Shaw, who wrote the play that My Fair Lady is based on. But the really exciting thing about this production, which is going to the Garrick Theatre, is that it will see real-life mother and daughter Imelda Staunton and Bessie Carter appear on stage together for the first time, playing mother and daughter. As well as that, this production also reunites Imelda Staunton with Dominic Cook as director, who previously worked together on Hello Dolly last summer and also Follies at the National Theatre. So there's a lot of reasons to get excited about this production team and this cast. If you want to catch this production, it will be opening at the Garrick Theatre in London from the 22nd of May, with previews starting on the 10th of May and running until the 16th of August. And that is all of your news this week. What are you most excited for? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps out the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on screen right now and a link to my Instagram if you'd like to drop me a follow over there. I also have other social links and a merch store in the description down below. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!